A listener texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Here's their text. Hi, I bought the rhododendron bush with the copper-colored leaves that you had recommended last year. When I got it, it had nice purple flowers. I thought it would have buds and blooms, but it's having clusters of leaves. Period. That's a clue. Will it still bloom? Question mark. By the way, my regular rhododendron seems to do the same, but it did have one flower. All right. I know what's going on. Somebody trimmed it. Somebody trimmed it after the blossom set in late summer or fall. Before these ever blooming, new wood blooming plants that we have now, it used to be that all plants set their buds like hydrangeas, like these PJM rhododendrons, azaleas. They all set their buds for the next year in late summer and fall. So if you went and you trimmed them down, you cut off all of their blossoms. And I think this is what happened. That they had, or someone, the significant other, husbands get blamed a lot for this, that they went and they trimmed it. And the problem was that it got trimmed and that they cut off all the flowers. The other alternative could be is we had a really, really extreme temperature drop this winter. It was real temperate. It was like, it's freezing and it's like in the upper 20s. Then all of a sudden, kabam, it went like down to like 7 degrees. Sometimes that fast temperature drop can cause the buds to completely burn off. Now, I have rhododendrons. I have PJMs. I did not have that problem. So I'm thinking it is a mechanical thing and it's a physical thing, that someone has affected those buds, and that I would bet anything that they got trimmed too late and it ended up destroying all the buds on that plant. Now, that often we hear about hydrangeas, that hydrangeas don't bloom because that happens. Like, for instance, on the macrophylla hydrangeas, the hydrangeas I'm talking about, the ones that are the snowball, some people call them the different types of the ball types of hydrangeas, but it's basically the blue ones and the pink ones, that those get taken out by being trimmed in the fall. So, best thing to do, don't touch it. Feed it some hollytone, and that you're going to feed it hollytone again in the fall. You let it set its buds, and you just don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. That's the best thing. If you have landscapers that you have, a lot of times that they'll mistakenly, they'll go in, they'll cut those back, and they won't know because they're cutting back things, other evergreens and things like that they'll do in the fall, and they end up hitting in the rhododendrons and the azaleas. Now, if you have azaleas and have the same problem, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Somebody is cutting off those blooms in the fall rather than holding on to them and not like skipping the PJMs and rhododendrons, or the hydrangeas for that matter, and going right on to a different type of evergreen. So like a conifer or something like that. So if you've got questions like this, again, like we get it all the time. My husband cut my clematis. We get that probably every weekend. And what happens is, or the landscaper pulled it out thinking that it was a weed. Clematis all the time. They disappear, and they don't really disappear. They get pulled out, or they get hit by the weed whacker, and that somebody ends up getting in trouble for it. And you know who you are. So, again, if you've got questions, call the hotline. That hotline number is 609-685-1880.